Hello?
Hi.
Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. Adjust the volume.
And I have been in absolute back-to-back since morning, so I'm so sorry I didn't read your
No
mail.
problem. I was just worried that maybe you didn't get my message about Zoom.
Your voice is slightly muffled. So
Yeah, I'll call from the phone.
I can hear it well, but the words are not very
I
clear.
know it's the headphone. It will be better, I think, if I call from the
Sure.
maybe from the phone. Okay, I'll just close it. Okay, finally it's working.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about that.
No worries at all.
My main headphone died.
Yeah, that gave me some time to go through your mail and all of that. So
Yeah, sorry for the late notice. I was just
no worries.
So what do you think?
No, it's a very tricky thing about this whole non-responsive thing is a little baffling to me as well. That what can we do additionally to overcome that? Because
I have all the keywords. I cannot even imagine what else. Something.
so you have applied, it's already gone into the database.
Right.
And
I applied online a week ago or on Sunday last week. So I applied. I created this custom cover letter, again, addressing it to the hiring manager.
Mhm.
That was part of the package. Then I messaged the hiring manager directly, the VP. And nobody checked on my LinkedIn profile unless they're checking in the stealth mode, which I don't think makes any sense whatsoever for a business to do that. Especially since he specifically advertised for this role.
What is the kind of applicants that the role has already? It's
I
already.
know that there is another one with a similar profile to me that applied after me because she commented on the posting that I just applied.
Hmm.
But I think I have more fintech background. So my two questions are two areas to discuss is I now have revised the resume and my LinkedIn profile, so I wanted to get
No,
your
the
feedback.
resume and LinkedIn looks fine. I don't think there is any additional piece. I like the message that you pinged the person with. It's pretty precise about underscoring what you stand for and what makes this particular opportunity a good fit for your candidature, which is all good. So I'm trying to think what are potentially different ways to tackle this. There are about 60 odd people who applied, I think 47 odd people who applied. And yeah, I'm not seeing any no, I think there's almost 357 applicants total. So yeah, that's quite a bit of applicants there, which again kind of says that how many people would have also sent a message like yours?
Not necessarily all 300 would have reached out directly to the
No, not.
hiring.
It depends upon how many have the access and how many are probably doing that. But my sense would be around 20% would have probably.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's.
So I can do a couple of more things here. I can go through my like second, third tier. I don't have anybody directly connecting to this VP, but I have somebody connecting to their head of people or head of recruiting, so I can reach out that way. I just don't want to be like an overkill. But then again, if they're not responding, there's only upside.
And the application happens through their website, right?
Say that again?
The application actually takes you to their website, right? Or is it through?
I applied on their website, yes. I never applied through LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And I applied a week ago, so that was when their application count wasn't as high.
Correct. That would probably be much before than some of the later ones that came in. So let's see, I mean, what are some of the ideas that you are thinking that could be some of the alternate ways to reach out, considering that you have tried your best and the person is not responding?
I can reach out to the VP directly. I found his email, his business email through one of the presentations he did. I can also ask for an introduction from somebody a little bit more remote in my network, but still they can connect me to the, I don't remember if I had, 1 second. trying to check if I have third degree connection, second degree connection to the site.
If we focus on, say, writing to the VP as a follow-up message, what message would probably be what? Let's think about what can be a good follow-up message without calling out that, hey, you're kind of ghosting me. So
Yeah, I just I'm reaching out to you on your work email because I'm not sure how often you check your LinkedIn messages.
I think yeah, that's probably good. But I think what you can write is, yes, I do see that the role is very very sought after. So I'm sure there are many applicants, and you're giving a due importance to each one of them. Just wanted to re-emphasize on my experience, and it would be a great opportunity and learning experience if we can engage in a conversation about how this can work mutually on both sides, really, how you're fit. So it's more to just sort of acknowledge that, hey, a role of this sort of prominence is definitely attractive role for many, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who are applying, and you are taking your time to go through and give due importance to all of it. I just want to use this opportunity to reposition my interest in the organization, and along with the expertise that I have and experience that I have, it would be a great learning experience to get to converse with you and take this further, and just leave that as a few set of lines. We can only hope that, I mean, the most direct, I mean, while Tara's suggestion of direct networking is well appreciated, but direct networking, how? I mean, sometimes I always question, coaches giving people this pretty generic direction that go direct networking, how? In this situation, I'm looking at what does direct networking look like here. You are trying the most direct route possible, which is reaching out to the person.
What you were suggesting is, but I think it's just a super generic approach. Like you reach out to somebody and you say that, I would love to, I'm very interested in your industry. I would like to know what it's like in your industry, or what's it like in your company, and where do you think it's going? I would love to have this opportunity to chat, and you put yourself on top of mind for them. But it would be embarrassing if I were to ask people about their industry, because I should already know. Like, it's not that I'm applying to work in, I don't know, pharmaceutical or construction. The tech world, I know in and out. I know the players and the market conditions. And so the one thing, though, that may be relevant is this reaching out not to people I already know, but asking them to introduce me to someone. The question is who that someone is. If it's not a hiring manager in existing role. So there is this notion, I'm sure you know, in the kind of network theory, organizational network theory, that the weak ties are bringing the most results, because these are people who are not, who don't share the same knowledge and the same mindset. So reaching out to somebody who is loosely connected can be more beneficial for diversity of thinking, for academic research, and for job hunt.
Yep. No, that's a valuable one. I think at this stage, you having tried this multiple pieces, what it would one area to explore would be that, which is again, instead of going after the specific people who are hiring managers as such, I mean, just to start with, wherever there is even a secondary or tertiary connection, however distant it may be, just to get people that, hey, I'm interested in your company, and this is the scope of my work till now, and I'm trying to explore how can we even identify an opportunity where these two paths can converge. Who can
So,
you direct me to? Yeah.
so I should look at a specific company or specific vertical. So I could either say, okay, this other fintech spaces, or the specific fintech. I'm just using fintech as an example, or fintech, like 3-5 companies, or I just like the call to action is still missing for me. I'm still not quite sure what is it that they should be doing. One thing I could do is, going back to my pre-COVID world, like I used to have coffee or lunches with my former coworkers on a regular basis, probably every 6 months, touching most everybody. I cannot imagine doing it right now, but we could at least maybe have like a Zoom call to check in up. Because even with the direct referrals, I realized in a couple of times that they didn't work, because in one case, the person actually submitted until much later, so it was too late. Case he submitted, but they looked at my profile, they were not interested. So not much I can do here. Or should I be asking for introduction to the hiring manager? But I had introduction to hiring manager with a Workday, like literally directly to the hiring manager, who loved me.
But then why would the person not do anything about it? I mean, at the end of this, the whole experience at work, they just kind of fizzled out without kind of bit of a damn squib, really, right?
I'm contemplating, actually it's on my to-do list, to reach out to the hiring manager and just say, just between us, Casey, as practitioners, can you give me a bit of an insight on what I could structure better to present my capabilities, because I know I could do a lot of, I can add a lot of value to your KCS program.
Yeah. I think my suggestion here would be go with your instinct on that one. I mean, if I do know that sometimes, like we have discussed in the past, that directly, if we're going through sort of secondary or tertiary connections, sometimes going straight to the topic of, hey, this is the opportunity I'm seeing, connect with the hiring manager, etc. Sometimes there is so much of similar kind of request happening. I'm hearing more and more people are, they just get hands off from any kind of request. No, this is another job seeking request. I'm not going to respond, because then I'm somewhere going to get obligated that, hey, I need to connect the person, I need to find it, and it's going to cost the relationship or whatever. So I'm not going to take the responsibility of it. So I feel that how can you curb that? Because you're not alone. I've been talking to some other people everyone's getting a bit cynical about the whole LinkedIn system that, hey, it's fine, you get to access to it. You know, if you have those subscriptions in LinkedIn, etc., you get additional opportunity to go and directly sort of write to people and all of that. All that's great. But I'm in the need of a job. I'm reaching out to the person who's got an opportunity. And if I write to the person is getting put off by the fact that I'm directly straight away getting to the point of asking a job without investing in connections and relationships and all that. So if I'm going to go through the non-direct route, which is via media, to get to the person who is a hiring manager, then I'm trying to think about what is the best potential of it. So should a script like, hey, I'm reaching out to you because there is some, I've been reading about your company. There are a couple of opportunities which from a distance sound interesting, but more importantly, I want to talk to somebody in the company with whom I can understand where it is going, what sort of future, it holds, what's your growth plans. I have my experience in this field, so would you be able to connect me to someone where I can have a open-end conversation, at least not directly stating that I'm looking for a job and all of it, but at least to get closer to the people who might be in your frame and starting some informational and networking conversation. Because somehow I feel writing the fact that, hey, can you connect me to the ex hiring manager or to the hiring manager I'm looking to apply for this role in a company isn't working. Unless there are many filters which are not in your control. Like if, for example, Lucas, as I look at his profile, it seems like Brex is a very, new company. And if Lucas has a certain profile or certain kind of number of years of work experience, he's looking at an age wise, if he's, who knows? I mean, he has a mental model of what kind of candidate, and he kind of takes a visual look of who is this person, what kind of profile they have. No, I mean, okay, 20 years of experience, maybe it's too much for a company like ours. God knows what are his filters really. So
Right.
so not sure what is stopping here. So I'm just trying to think that would it help, like if you address him as hi Lucas instead of dear Mr. Perelius or whatever? Would it help that he would like more conversational approach to that, or now the fact that you've already written to him saying that you applied for the job and all of it, which means the conversation connection was very job related, then what should the follow-up look like?
So I actually had like 3 pings into that company. One was the application. One was response to his post on LinkedIn about the job, saying, hey, that sounds like exciting opportunity, I just applied. And 2, didn't LinkedIn message to him.
I like the ping.
And I'm not even thinking about them as, I'm using that as a use case. As a kind of blueprint for my approach moving forward.
I think the moving forward, I would only encourage that we'll have to continue. If you have to leverage LinkedIn, it's only a few ways that you can do it, which is we have to get. My recommendation would be that you continue the networking. I think the approach of identifying those 15, 20 organizations which fit the fintech and support realm, and finding out who can be the door openers for you, and reaching out to them with a very open-ended approach that, hey, I want to form some relationships because I consider this I'm interested in the company, but I want to know more about how what's the opportunities, what is the growth sort of strategy ahead, and how's the support side of things looking like. And so can you connect me to some people or senior leaders with whom I can just have a 30-minute chat? And then that conversation is, if it opens up a door, is a more sort of no obligatory scenario. No one's coming to the call by saying that, hey, I'm asking a job from you. and they feel this obligation that if I don't like, what happens? I mean, how can I say no? I mean, saying no to somebody is a huge barrier, and that scares the hell out of people, really. So I would say that making it more of an informational request might actually lower that pressure on people.
I'm just looking through their people. So I have a level 2 connection to their chief people officer, but that guy is retired. I don't think he's
In
going to
Breck,
work. But I have a live level. There's chief of staff is my level 2 connection that I can connect through the person I know.
in Brex?
In Brex, yes.
Okay, okay.
So I can reach out to my direct connection asking for an introduction to the chief of staff, I guess, because he's the connection.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Have,
okay, I can just, I can just carpet bomb everybody asking for introduction, but that would be just probably a bit too much.
no, I'm just thinking that would that be a bad idea? I'm saying even if it's a carpet bombing for say 5 or 10 companies to begin with, and where you do see somebody, at least if not immediate direct hiring manager, but someone in the company at a relatively influential position who is in your network, whom you know or who can kind of relate to you, it would be an idea.
I have a really good quality person who is connected to one of their recruiters, so maybe that would be the best approach. Just a regular recruiter, not the head of recruiting, so maybe that's less pressure. Going back to the networking, so I'm still, maybe I just don't have enough coffee this morning. What is the ask? And so whom do I ask and what is the ask? Do I reach out to everybody in my direct network, like my level 0 people, asking them for what? Introduction to somebody in...
Yeah, I think first to see if the person even, I mean, there needs to be some degree of altitude for the person to be able to connect you to somebody of authority. It should not be like anybody and everybody in the company. So if you do find someone who is at least in an influential place who can reach you up to a senior leader, a potential hiring manager, a potential organization leader of a place where you could be, you could find a role. That should be the starting point. And then I think the ask to me should be do some research about the company prior to writing to the person, so that you can write at least 2 points why this company seems interesting to you.
So let me just, sorry to interrupt, let me just clarify this. I'm reaching out to people, my level 1 close connections that do not have an opening at the moment.
That may or may not have.
Right.
May or may not have. I mean, if they have, you can reference that, hey, I'm seeing some openings coming out in support in your company, but what more importantly, I'm, the company interests me and interests me for these couple of reasons. So I did some reading around the company. These are a couple of things that is exciting. Is there a way that you can connect me to someone I can talk to about more about the company and how it's evolving, especially in the support space of it? That's the generic spiel that I'm recommending.
Okay. I have decided for now, and I think I mentioned this before, to just limit the technical support, just because it's I can be more focused, and I have clear results to show in that space. Did you look at my PowerPoint thing?
I am right now seeing that, actually. It's right in front of me. So this is good. The strengths and capabilities. Um, I'm just thinking, is it?
Maybe it should go in the inverse order, like the jobs first and then strengths and capabilities.
Now, some of these things like change management, design thinking, performance management, diversity. I mean, these seem to be they are like omnipresent words. They do
Yeah.
figure out. I'm just trying to see that if I'm reading it for the first time, and I feel like these are how can what can you do to iterate and prune it down to a few meaningful specific rather than so many generic terms there. It should almost seem like, yes, the obvious ones are already there, but specifically like innovation, innovation change management seems very benign to me, honestly. You know, I'm sure 99% of the talent leaders who have led innovation somewhere or the other
Yes.
have done change management. So is that a differentiator? Because yes, there are strengths and capabilities, but we literally have to, what we are not writing out here, but should be in our mind is superpowers. What is my unique superpower that I bring in? All of these are great to have, but you would agree that almost 80% people with your experience, at least number of years of experience, would somewhere or the other use these terms. So what
Yeah.
is unique superpower that you are projecting through these? I like the headers: analysis, collaboration, EI, innovation, leadership, strategy. They are brilliant. I think you can probably add one more column there as um, leadership, I guess, covers the people part of it as well.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to see if there is an opportunity for you to refine some of these terms to get more meaningful around it. Say, and I'm just thinking that they're appearing too generic to me, but I'm sure there is going to be, if you have to tell stories around it, that why in innovation, these are the two things these are my superpowers. If somebody asks, okay, why does thought leadership come as your superpower in innovation? Then you should be able to tell two or three stories around that. Why I consider these are three different instances where my thought leadership around innovation really stood out. So, so what would be those few that I would like to, so that a person takes a look at it and says, oh, there's only like 10 of these, or 12 of these, or 11 of these, but why did you put this particular thing instead of having a whole kind of boiling the ocean feel to it? You get my point?
Yeah, I'm what I could do, I was thinking, and actually done that as a pre-interview prep, is kind of build a mind map with specific, in my case, it was a specific bullet point denoting a story or a narrative for each of the items that we're looking for in the job description. I can do something similar for each of the 6 categories, like 2 examples.
I won't even want you to go. I mean, you can keep that. That's a good work to have for keeping in your back pocket when the conversation time happens, because those examples are typically, if someone gets curious about, hey, what does intellectual curiosity really mean? Why is that a superpower of yours? mean, I'm looking at something like collaboration. You mentioned customer and partner relationship, cross-functional partnering. These are usual stuff, but I'm making it up completely. An example of meaningful, specific would be um, driving 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 cross-organizational clarity, commitment, and alignment on ambiguous problems. You know, that's a very specific way that, hey, in organizations where network or metric organization or metricized organizations work, we work in a matrix. There is always a sense of ambiguity around how are we aligning. And I'm kind of the driving force, and I've had not once, not twice, but maybe 7 or 8 times that I have been able to bring together organizations across the matrix to find, you know, crystal clarity around ambiguous programmatic or ambiguous problems, ambiguous strategic directions, and create commitment, alignment, and clarity. And if you can give a couple of examples, but that even just one under collaboration, that you help create clarity in you know, ambiguous circumstances in a company, which is probably the biggest catalytic move that a leader can provide when there are unnecessary political conflicts, unnecessary unsaid things, or blockages, barriers, and you suddenly, you know, help remove that. You take the ownership, although it's not part of your job description. You take the ownership to create that clarity, move forward. That, if somebody puts it, I would say, yeah. I mean, that's like, I mean, usual stuff of collaboration is there, but this one I specialize in. So that's what, like, analysis, data-driven decisions, obvious, but what does analysis mean? I mean, analysis to literally uncover ways to accelerate decision making.
So as I was redoing the site profile yesterday, I came across a presentation that I completely forgot about, and I put it as one of the LinkedIn multimedia things. So it's a application for the Innovation Award for my Intuit project. Like every other slide is a unique strategic breakthrough that I came up with. So your like cross-functional collaboration, I have a slide on support jam when I brought in all of the product people to work on customer cases so that we could flex to support beta and early customers without hiring an army of people. So it's like just-in-time hiring. The example of analytical data, I have the analysis of the knowledge-based reuse as an input to product roadmap. So like that's what I was thinking in like when I said mind map, it can be like a link to a specific slide or specific example, specific story.
Yeah, that's a good place to start again. Like I said, I think if for this particular slide, you've got to ask yourself hard, what is my superpower? I mean, within analysis, and even if it's just one per box, fair, but that has to be an absolutely you know, strong superpower. These to me is still very generic, and I think you should, like in analysis, and one of the big ways to find superpower is asking yourself at least twice or thrice the so what question. When data-driven decision, so what? But why is under analysis, what is that one thing that was my superpower? How did I best use data? And what happened? So what happened because of that? I can give you my example for you. I mean, for me, data is for me, the data is it's asking the best question, or finding the best questions to pursue the search for the best data. You know, otherwise we are all swimming in a sea of data out here. But one of the things that I always tell anyone who is either hiring me or I'm going to work with, that when they ask me, you know, how do you generally work with data? Can you give us some example about it? And I said, my biggest strength that I bring up in data is that I'm able to assess the situation in which I'm going to need the data, and go and spend a lot of time finding out what are those questions focused on the problem that I need to answer. And once I write down those questions, then the search for the right data is easy. And because otherwise I'm going to get you a complete sort of set of complete sort of troves of data that I will bring in. So it's going to be a data overload, and then we will feel great about these spreadsheets and dashboards and everything, but not knowing what we are trying to look for. And I give an example for, I mean, 3 years later, 3 years back, when I was in HR, I was, you know, I was doing a project about we needed to set up offices for a new engineering function, which was a function on data scientists and data analytics. And we were globally making a decision on where do we you know, base our input. This was before COVID. Work from home still not a part of this thing. We were still looking at which would be the global hubs where we will base people at. And usually people said that, okay, our biggest offices are in Singapore, in India, and maybe in Dublin and Redmond. So let's have these four and my question to them was, okay, what data did you see? So they said, where our engineers are mostly located. That's the data they saw. And I said, okay, in that case, we asked the wrong question. Our question should be, where is the best sort of best and the most number of data scientists located around the world? And that's a non-Microsoft question. So then we went out to an external research organization who did that mapping for us and we found characteristically there's Japan, there is Israel, there is a whole lot of other places, and definitely not India, definitely not Singapore. And that, because there's already hubs of, you know, good quality and highly qualified data scientists, professionals there. So the question that we were asking was, where are Microsoft engineers located? And we are solving a data science problem. Whereas we needed to ask a different question. And that's an example I always give, that database decision making in that situation was, where can we have the best sort of data scientist market of talent, where it already exists, and where it would be easier for us to go and acquire the best brains to work for us. And that's a question, if we ask, then we go and hunt for data in a completely different place, which is a world market data. And when we got the data, we were able to, you know, go back to the leadership and say, you need to open offices in Dublin, in Israel, in probably say, at that time, we even had Russia as one of the biggest data science markets. We even had, say, China or Japan, in a couple of those places. And then we said, okay, these are the countries to start with. And that was a fantastic experience, because we did start hubs in these markets and they are flourishing. But that's the indication I'm making, that when you're populating these, maybe just ask yourself this question, that under emotional intelligence, while these are all statements, what would be the one thing that you have done passionately, differently, and you have some path-breaking results that on a recurring basis you are able to drive? That's your superpower, and that's the only one thing that you must write out there.
And I know what that is, as I was thinking. It's addressing problem, identifying the root cause and addressing the root cause. So the example I give is there is a slippery sidewalk, and a lot of people slip and break their legs. So I can invest in more surgeons in the ER so they can fix that, or I can figure out why everybody's falling and put some sand on it. So instead of focusing on fixing the problem, how do we avoid that problem in the first place? What is it that we can do to understand what drives the problem and how we can address it so it doesn't happen? And I have multiple examples of that.
That's a wonderful one. That's a wonderful one. And I think that's the kind of stuff that probably you should capture on this slide, and take out all the generic ones, because those are all given considering you've had such experiences. But these 6 or 7 or 8, whatever you put it, I mean, some boxes may have more than one. These, when they go in, the people taking a look at it should feel that, oh, these are strong ones, and these should potentially, each one of them should be a conversation creator, conversation starter, and even sort of conversation driver in terms of considering your candidature. So I think this is a good, the format is great. I just feel that the content needs to be polished, refined, and zeroed down to some very focused, meaty superpowers.
So should I use the specific example, because I have a dozen of examples when I did that with results, or I can use like a fable of the broken legs in the ER?
I think you can keep the examples hidden, because and just find what is that quality or what is that attribute that those examples are projecting, and just capture that. I just feel that this should be just a teaser. And someone is curious, you get down to the conversation and share the examples then, not here on print.
Help me understand how the teaser would work with the format.
So I would say that once you populate with those superpowers, let's say for just argument's sake or conversation's sake, it's 1 per box, then you've got 6 of these. I would say that you can take this slide and attach it with the covering letter or any other sort of promotional document that you have, and say, I want to, for your sort of reference, I want to position my, not superpowers, but my strengths as a leader, that I have exhibited on a recurring basis, and these are it. And I would look, I would look forward to the opportunity to talk more about it and share some of the stories and projects where I have had the opportunity to demonstrate these. And that's how you place it. I mean, either it's a link to the slide, or it's a screenshot of it within the note, or an attachment along with it, whatever. But this is a slide that must go with everything that you're sending to someone. I mean, the resume is a big part of it, but nobody has a time for resume. But this is it. And the next slide, which is your key focus, there you got to add the so what to each of these statements. collaborated with key accounts to build hybrid support models. So what? What happened because of that? Juniper Networks, what that big rock that you broke, that big problem that you solved along with it, dramatically decreased high profile escalations. Need to show something there. I mean, at least in the bracket, what was the delta, how it came down, I mean, from to something you must indicate up there,
which I have in my resume. So
I know, I've seen that. So you got to bring that here, because if this is that one page impact snapshot, then the impact might as well be mentioned here.
So back to the superpower.
Mm-hmm.
So I am naming the superpower, and then I give one example, one specific example, and then I did something similar in multiple other areas, but here is just one example.
I think it's the differences between example is the story and the superpower is an attribute. So in an example, say how you use root cause analysis, you got to frame it in a way that finding, finding the root cause to find and solve whatever, that should be your superpower. And examples where you've done it can be silent, that you can talk about when you meet with the person. But what is that one thing that you do very well, that characteristic, that attribute, that needs to be the superpower, not the example.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I like the format. I like both the slides, but I think you've got to make it intentionally more meaningful. Right now, there's a lot of it's as good as a resume where we intentionally put a lot of words, but this slide has to be, every single word needs to mean something. At this point, there is a lot of noise.
So clarifying what the main point is, how does this superpower look like without, in that context, linking to an example, right? So just like I have examples, I don't need to put them in here.
No. So for example, what is your biggest superpower in collaboration? What do you do the best under collaboration?
I bring teams together to solve some strife.
What is that? Come again? I didn't get the whole thing clearly.
Making the product better through collaboration, eliminating, I don't know. Okay, I'll think about it. I think we're running out of
yeah.
time.
So that's the question you ask yourself, because it will not be a comfortable framing. It will take a lot of time, but invest that time, because when you ask yourself, what am I the best in collaboration, and why I consider it to be best, because it has to have a great value that you have generated because of that activity. And that should be the superpower, that hey, I help products be better because of this thing, but what do I do to do that? Because then I actually bring together people or conflicting units in the orgs that are not politically sort of aligned, but bring all those units together so that we can define a good product, then take all of that and then make a little sort of snippet that able to align, conflicting functions and units towards one, cohesive product goal. I think that is your superpower. Then you put it there. Say that I've done this like in 2 out of 4 places that I've worked on multiple occasions, and you have stories to say that. But that's the thing, that you bring together sparring units and factions, and you're able to sort of create enormous clarity about what are we working, the specs and everything, and then deliver a good product. That's the superpower. Then you got to just mention that as an attribute. Anyway, we are on screen.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your insights. If it's okay, I'll send you maybe another version of this.
Yeah, please. So this is a great start. Please keep sending me. You just send me a little early so that I'll be able to. Today was a little messy day for me.
Yeah. I just finished it last night, so
No problem. No problem.
burning midnight oil. Okay, thank you so much. Have a great
Thanks.
weekend ahead, and I will get working. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.